morning, everybody. How are you? The devilishly handsome Ian Dixon. Good morning, sir.
Shut up, for fuck's sake. Jesus.
Good morning, everybody. Hope you okay. I'm all snuggly. I'm feeling all snuggly this wise at Wednesday. I hope you're feeling good. Apologies, my studio area is still looking a little bit tatty and the lighting isn't quite right. I don't know why I'm apologizing. I'm still here. I'm still showing up. I'm still feeling fabulous. How are you? Are you feeling good this morning? Good morning to all of you gorgeous people. I hope you are all feeling good. All right. Good morning. Who's here? Amy playing here. Let's do a roll call. Let me know if you are watching along. If you're watching on the Queen Bee Danny page on Facebook, then I should be able to see you. If you're watching on LinkedIn, I should be able to see you. If you're watching along on my personal profile, Danny Wallace, I might not see you. So don't think that I'm being ignorant. I'll give you some likes and some loves after. Also in the Hive as well. You are best seen on the Queen Bee Daddy page on Facebook or over on LinkedIn. So I can see you and do this. Leslie Crow, good morning and good evening to you over in Australia. Morning, Dominic Fenton. How are you this morning? Louise James, my angel, come and give us a squeeze. I'm going to send you a message later on today. Let's catch up. I bloody love that cardigan. You know where it's from? It's from my favourite. It's from the Asdas. How are we doing? Are you all good this morning? Listen, I have got some things to share with you today. I have, what's the word? I've not been sitting uncomfortably because I actually enjoy this process. After the initial smart, I enjoy this process. But today, we're going to be talking about feedback. We're going to be talking about receiving feedback. And when you do something pretty fucking big, like Be Inspired, like we've just done, where there are lots of people in attendance, lots of people will offer feedback. And that is dead good. It's not like an unsolicited feedback situation. I actively ask. I did a whole talk, actually, and that's what I want to speak to you about this morning. I did a whole talk on failing, on getting things really wrong, getting things wrong so that I can get things right. And with that in mind, that if I'm getting things wrong, understand the intention for me as an entity, as a business, is that I'm trying to get things right. It's my intent. The intention is good behind everything that it is that I do, but I also am really hyper aware that I will get things wrong. And if I get things wrong and you understand that the intention is good, then if you are giving me feedback, then I would expect that feedback to be delivered with love and not just like, let's be dead clear on this. Some people go, I'm just being honest. And what they do is they utilize that phrase to give them permission to then be unkind. I'm going to be really honest with you, and then go, like, really go for it. So I want to talk about two things this morning. I want to talk about giving feedback and receiving feedback. And I also want to talk very specifically to the feedback that we've received from Be Inspired and the work that we are doing in the background to make sure that the next Be Inspired is even better. Is that okay? That's where we're at this morning. But first of all, we're a community. This is a conversation. And I want to know from you, how do you feel about feedback? And let's strip out all the bullshit around this. I know that it's uncomfortable to receive feedback, and also it's really uncomfortable to receive negative feedback. How do you really feel about it? How do you ask for it? How do you receive it? And how do you act on it? Let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation about this morning. Dominic is sat in the rain waiting to run an event for deaf children in Doncaster. Amazing, Dominic. You are bloody fantastic. We're going to get Dominic on the show to talk to you all about what it is that he does because he's bloody brilliant. Carla Wiggins. Can I just shout out Carla Wiggins once again? Carla Wiggins really swooped in at the 11th hour last week and the week before. as Be Inspired was kind of getting prepped, Wallace went down. He went down hard. He was really ill, and he was there was still some design stuff that needed doing. And Carla swooped in and absolutely smashed it out of the park. Absolutely fantastic job that she did, finishing tweaking all of our speakers PowerPoints and what have you. Just what an absolute angel. Please do go and check Carla Wiggins out because she's bloody fab. Fail, first attempt in learning, if you use it as an acronym. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. There are definitely ways to go about it. Some people can be downright nasty. Yeah, absolutely. As long as it's done with the right intention, I'm happy to have feedback. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Kat, good morning, darling. I appreciate feedback when it's delivered with love and it's not just a criticism. I'm with you on that one. Honestly, I love it. I love it if it's good. I hide away if it's bad. My biggest trigger is not being enough. So to be told I'm not enough really hits hard, but I'm working on it. Yeah, I felt those feelings just this week. So one of the value sets of IATQB and the Flying Away Foundation, and indeed everything that it is that I do as a person, I like to be inclusive, right? I like to provide safe spaces for people from different backgrounds, different races, different religions, different abilities to enter into our space and feel welcome and feel seen and feel heard and all of that sort of stuff. When you have a team as tiny as mine and you're trying to do massive, big fuck off things, like really big fuck off things, sometimes things will fall. Like I won't get everything right. To be honest, for all of you that have been watching along, certainly over the past 6, 7 months, will have seen just how much I've put into Be Inspired, making Be Inspired an inclusive space, making Be Inspired a safe space, working with my speakers to get them thinking about things like language changes, sort of trying to do the good work from the inside out, right? Trying to be a good ally and also trying to pull off the event itself, which had me on my knees at lots of different points. So when we get to the event, and I'm not like excusing myself, maybe I am excusing myself. I don't know. Maybe not. And maybe I'm in a position where when we scaled up like that, I just didn't know what I didn't know and tried my best with what I knew. And that was that. So I, so when I started to receive feedback after I had just birthed this event, it made me feel a little, oh God, I got it wrong. I got it so wrong. I could have got it so much righter. And these feelings of inadequacy and these feelings of shame and these feelings of, this kind of not enoughness. I could have done better. I should have done better. Now then, I'm going to use the word could and should here, probably like incorrectly in this instance. I could have done better had I had the capacity to have been able to look at all of the things. And the learn here is that I need a bigger team. I need to bring people in to be able to advise me so that I don't miss those things. That's the learn. But in the moment, in the direct aftermath, it felt like not enoughness. And so I welcomed everybody to deliver their feedback. And feedback is the breakfast of champions, and I'm hungry. That is Simon Koslowski, who worked on some of our copy a while back on some of our email sequences, actually said that. He messaged me and he went, Danny, feedback is the breakfast of champions, and I'm hungry. And yes, feedback is the breakfast of champions, and feedback I am really open to. But the manner in which it is delivered, I think, is really important. So I invited people in the audience to deliver that feedback, but deliver that feedback with love and to give me a hot minute for me to breathe. And some people did and some people didn't. And it was all fair. It was all delivered with the right intention. When people say, I love you, but I think it was Ije McDougall, one of our incredible VIP speakers, said that feedback and honesty and loving criticism should still feel like love. and not feel like that's someone trying to knock you down a few pegs. And that was really important for me to set that up in that I'm open to feedback because I know I've got things wrong. Please deliver it in a way that I'm going to be able to action and not be hurt at the same time, because I've tried to deliver this with love. I'm not like, look at my baby. Here's my baby, and I've tried really hard with this baby. Don't kick me, baby, right? Don't kick me, especially when this has kind of brought me to my knees. It might sound like I'm being a bit woe is me about the whole thing, but I think it's an interesting conversation. It's certainly something that I've been thinking about, um, certainly over the past few days. So I really had to galvanize myself and separate myself from communications in the moment and pass that feedback to the team for them to just hold on to. And then know that when I've now I'm in a position where I'm feeling really strong about it. I know I delivered everything I could within the realms of what I was capable of and all of that sort of stuff. But in the direct aftermath, it is definitely necessary to just galvanize yourself a little bit to elicit the feedback, find somewhere for that feedback to go. Know that you will have got something wrong because nobody's perfect, and I'm not seeking perfection because perfection is a fallacy. I just want to get better every time. Stephen Bartlett talks about like 1%. How can we be 1% better every single time? And I want to be 10% better every time. But wait until you are strong enough to go and have a look at it so that you can see it with the intention that it is given, which is that I noticed this and next time you can do better by. In the direct aftermath, it just feels raw. It feels like, oh, I tried to get it really right. I just want the good stuff at the moment, just the good stuff to sort of validate me. Rightly or wrongly, like I'm just processing this in human time, right? What are you lot saying about it? Let's have a look. Yes. Tough love should still feel like love. Yes, that is absolutely it. Absolutely it. Amy Mantle, good morning, my darling. I received negative feedback from a coach. I'm on a mastermind on something last night and it felt awful, but I know it's helping me level up. Yeah, because the thing is, because we pour so much of ourselves into the work that we do, that it's difficult to hear that we're not quite hitting the nail. But if we are working with people and we are surrounded with people who understand the love and the intention that you're delivering things with, and then provide you with loving feedback in order for you to make things even better, I can see the gaps in your strengths here. Here's how I would plug those gaps, but it's well worth getting an advisor in order to deliver on some of those gaps, because it can't all be on you. A lot of this as well for me has been a leveling up from a CEO perspective. Is this a me job? This is a, how do I get team in order to implement this job? Not that I didn't do something, it's that I didn't have enough resources to do all the things I could have done. And so the learn is next time we make sure that we have the resources either in a volunteer or paid capacity in order for us to deliver. So I'll tell you about some of the things that we've learned that we're going to deliver on next time. And we're still in that kind of feedback situation. We're still in that breaking things down and debriefing. Something as big as Be Inspired, there's so many moving parts. We've got the expo, we've got the speakers, we've got the event itself, we've got the audience experience, we've got the venue experience, we've got the software experience, we've got the follow-up and the communication experience. So many moving parts that actually it's going to take us a little hot minute to convene on each of these things. But there's some really big key learnings I want to share with you today. Who is this? I really appreciate constructive feedback and I would always welcome it, but often feedback can just be can just become about picking up on all the negative things and become personal. Agreed, absolutely agreed. There's a difference between like gossiping and nitpicking, and actually constructive feedback that's going to make the whole user experience better. And I want to create a user experience that is exemplary. I want to create a space that is safe, while still really holding true to my morals, right? Still holding true to what I think. Charlotte Lehman, good morning, my angel. Yes, don't fear the F word. Just covered this in a communication course I helped create. It's how you do it that's important. Yes, as a broadcaster, this is Lottie, by the way, who was on our PR panel. Please, please, please do go and check out Charlotte Lehman. She's fantastic. We were so honored to have her on our Media Matters panel. She brought some real spice and some real fire to the situation. We bloody love her. As a broadcaster, I have feedback daily. It does help you grow and improve. Positive approach is crucial, 100%. And also understanding how you receive feedback as well. I think as a self-awareness exercise for me, it is definitely me sharing with the room, I'm going to fail already. By even trying, I'm going to fail. I already know it. And so if you found an area whereby I've not got something right, I want you to take note of it and come and give me or the team that information. And then for me, as somebody who needs a little bit of galvanization in the direct aftermath of a big thing, have somewhere for that feedback to go so that I could be removed from it for just a second whilst I gather my thoughts, whilst I have a little cry and a little celebrate for the things that I have achieved. Then with a fresh slate, I can go back and look at the drawing board and go, right, here's how we're going to make things even better so even more people can enjoy this mega super awesome thing that we're creating. Which is what Natalie's saying here. I actually need to work on receiving it. It's something that hits hard when you know you're throwing everything at something. We're human and we're going to miss things 100%. Interesting, right? So this is a self-awareness exercise on both sides, that when you're delivering feedback, how? What's the tone that you're using? And it's not to pussyfoot around. You can be straight talking and still deliver with love. Like, it could be better. And I thought your event was fantastic. I really loved your event. Here are some points I would consider next time in order to make your user experience even better. It's simple. It's simple, but not easy. Whereas if you have had a negative experience, you could take that negative experience personally. Oh, Danny hasn't thought about me. Danny was thinking about 100 different scenarios and maybe didn't get your scenario quite right. So have a think about the intention. Oh, it was my bad. Yeah, I think it was AJ. I'll be on the volunteer team. You don't have to pay me. Just utilize me any way you need to, within reason. Now then, that's going to form a little part of our discussion today, you beautiful sausages. Let me get on to that in a minute. Let me just see what you're all saying. Excuse me. I always take it personally at first. I care so much, but then I digest it and take it on board, if valid and not just a moan. And sometimes it is just a moan. Sometimes people just need to be heard, right? Which is why I think that having somewhere for that feedback to go, for it to just sit and percolate a sec, whilst you strengthen yourself to sit and, right, even if you're just saying over the feedback, right, this has been delivered to me because someone's had an experience that I can improve, continuous improvement. That's what we're all about. I think there needs to be that space of time in between the two things, though. I always acknowledge the person who gives the feedback and tell them how we're going to action their feedback. And that is something, and that is always really well received. I always ignore anonymous feedback. Interesting. Anonymous feedback. Let me throw that out to you lot. Anonymous feedback. So somebody's had a user experience and they've offered up some feedback and it's completely anonymous. Are we ignoring it? Or do we speak to that person and say, well, we can't speak if they're anonymous, we can't do, but do we speak to that person and say, here's what we're doing to work on it so that you can be in conversation, right? Helen Junie, who is, you will find her on Twitter, The Complaining Cow. She's written a book. She's in the media all the time, talks about complaining and talks to businesses about how to receive complaints. Now we're talking about complaints now and not feedback. How to receive complaints. And actually, you can take a negative consumer, customer, client experience and turn it into something really positive for the client and for your business, right? So you can take a complaint and actually work with that customer directly on improving that user experience. That customer client then feels seen and heard and then therefore safe. And everyone's onto a winner. I find it fascinating. I could have done better, so much better. We did our best at the time. And when we know better, we do better. Yes, completely correctly. I think that's probably the best way. Otherwise, you'll probably receive it and respond to it emotionally. Yes, that's right. Someone's just kicked me baby. Don't kick me baby. Ow. You kick my baby, I'm going to say ow. Whereas actually, once you've got that little bit of percolation time between the two, you can breathe a bit and take it with the intention that it's probably been delivered with for the most part. I don't like it when people deliver in the way of a shit sandwich. Aha! Who's heard of the shit sandwich? Who's not heard of the shit sandwich? So, shit sandwich is, I really liked it when you did this. However, when you did this, it made me feel like this. But actually, in future, like shit sandwich, like shit in the middle, is, I don't know. You can dress it up, you can dress it down. I think it's just being delivered with the right intention is paramount. Really, really paramount. It often feels personal when it's intended to help better us. Yeah, I think that's where that percolation time is necessary. Amy Mantle, Danny Wallace, you are blooming great. That's my feedback for right here, right now. I love you, Jules Kelly. I love you. You can only do so much yourself. Yeah, and that is exactly what I found. That things got missed because I was spread too thinly. And that is what we're going to take into the next one. We're going to try and not spread too much of Danny about. So I also think we need to think about whether those giving the feedback also know what it's like to be in our shoes. Yeah, they're only thinking about their individual experience, right? Sometimes it's meant well without full understanding of what it's like to be us doing our best. It's easy sometimes to criticize without truly knowing and understanding. Yeah, it is. It definitely is. And this is where we've got to get the balance right from a recipient and from a giver. From a giving and receiving point of view. That sounds ruder than I intend, but you know what I mean. Get a panel. I'm sure you have plenty of people in your circle who are willing to step up and help. 100%. Yes. And we are going to be holding a panel both internally and externally as well. We're going to get some three. Oh, I said it. I nearly said it. I want to say it. I'm going to get some 360 feedback. 360 feedback. What do I mean by 360 feedback? Feedback from a user experience, client experience, feedback from a team experience, and also feedback from a runner experience. So everybody, all of the moving parts have a representative from each of those moving parts to be able to sit down and look at things more broadly. Also with specialists in the field as well. For example, accessibility. For example, diversity and inclusion. All of those sorts of things, having a panel discussion about, okay, what went really well? What do we want more of? And also, what are the building blocks for next time? Here was where the foundation was. That's brill. What's the next one? Vicky Haig, hello, darling. Didn't realize I had to say to stream. It was you. It was you. I find it really hard to get constructive feedback on my art. I want something tangible, but everyone is just too nice, which is nice, but doesn't always help me move forward. Yeah, I get that. I get similarly, it's difficult to receive good feedback. So you can imagine, because of what it is that Be Inspired is, because of what it is that I do within our community, because of what I do online, because of my books, because of my approach, because of all of the things, I receive lots of really good feedback. Like, feedback that sometimes is so overwhelming that I don't know what to do with it. It's a real lesson in receiving for me. So I get things like, you've changed my life. I've got things like, I made a decision today because of you that's going to change the course of everything that I do going forward. I carry myself differently because I've worked with you. I know myself better. I have a better business because of you. Um, I feel seen. I feel safe. I feel heard because of you, because of this experience, because of this event. They are really big pieces of good feedback, right? How, for somebody who struggles with that, I'm like, are they just blowing smoke up my arse because they've seen I've tried dead hard? Is it like a 5-year-old? So our Gillian Park was talking about creativity and talking about when you do art when you're 5 years old and you hold up this piece of art, which is essentially mark making, splodges on a paper, and the parents and the family and the teachers go, oh my God, that was amazing. Like, it's so good, that piece of art that you created. It's so good. 5-year-olds walking around with like, just got the chufties on, got the chufty badges, like, yeah, I'm dead good, I'm an artist now, me. Is it that? You know, it's understanding how to receive the good stuff as well. And this is me just mooting stuff out to you guys. This is me just having a conversation with you this morning because I wanted to trigger reflections in yourself. Like, how do you receive this? The good feedback, I know, and I said this in a couple of statuses in the run up. I went to bed at night having done the very best I could have done within my capabilities and within my bandwidth, without me trying to fucking kill myself, making this event happen. this isn't the event to do it on. This was just the Level Up event. This isn't even my night at the Apollo yet. Like, we are only getting started with what Be Inspired is going to be. So it would serve nobody if I burn myself to the ground in the run up to birthing this one. This is just the Level Up one, right? We've still got a lot of growth, such significant growth. This was a brilliant one to get things really wrong on, because it's small enough for the people in the room to be able to come to me directly and say, here's how you can improve our user experience. Similarly, a lot of those people really love me. They're my loved ones. They're my inner circle. They're my close people. So then when they go, you're amazing, you've done a really good job, God, you're superhuman, you're a superhero, or you're all this, I'm like, oh, okay. I just wore a unicorn. And I know that I didn't just put a unicorn outfit on. I know I didn't just wear silly costumes and make people laugh or sing at people. I know that what I created was the intention of the community coming together in this way. And I did it. And sometimes you've got to go, thank you. I feel like we're heading in the right direction. Thank you. That means the world. That's a lesson in and of itself. Receiving the good feedback with heart, instead of going, it's like someone going, oh, you're beautiful, and going, shut up, I'm not beautiful. No, don't look at me, I'm not really beautiful. It's I'm going, I know I'm beautiful. I know that this event was fucking amazing. I know that where it is that we're going is good. Not without conceit, without ego. Just thank you for acknowledging the work that I did. I did dead good. I'm going to do even better. I can't wait. Is kind of where I'm at with it. Another volunteer right here. Michelle Thomas. I want to say thank you so much for the email that you sent. I will be responding today. I've had a couple of days kind of coming back down to earth from a business perspective. I will be back to everybody's DMs and emails over the coming days. We will have to remember that feedback can sometimes come from someone who doesn't know all the facts and might just need filling in. For sure. Absolutely. And also, I do a really good job of not showing you what goes on underneath. Like, even as the show was happening over the lunchtime, I had a proper cry, a proper like boohoo cry out of the way, because I felt overwhelmed, because there was a lot of things that were going on that I couldn't control. There were things that were happening that made me feel like I was losing my grip a little bit, and I had to kind of pull myself together. It wasn't like a slap round the face, but I definitely needed a big cuddle and a propanol to get me through the afternoon in one piece. I don't want it to be like that. But somebody then tried to give me feedback in that moment wasn't catching me at the best time. I live by the phrase, I'm doing the best I can in the situation I'm in. If I learn something doing it or 5 minutes after, which changes that, then that's okay, right? And it is. Laura Royal, hello, solid. Hello, sausage. No failure, only feedback. Yeah, absolutely. Laura was amazing at this yesterday. Laura sent me a message telling me about her experience and telling me how I could improve it for people next time. And I needed it. Like, I was like, thank you so much. It was delivered with love. It was delivered with kindness. It was delivered with some foundational building blocks on which I can grow a user experience so I can make things even better. Feedback should be future focused and conversational to help us move forward. Thank you. And I love you so much for the message that you sent me yesterday. Really, really helpful. It's a double-edged sword, because you don't know you're getting it wrong unless you're told, but it hurts to be told. Yeah. And I think that space would come back for that space. Perhaps a process about getting feedback. That's what we're going to implement this time. So you're not consuming it straight away. Correct. Exactly what we're going to do. Feedback email address. Really great idea. Feedback forms on the day for people that, want to share things in the moment and want it to come directly to me. The thing that Brené Brown says about being in the arena comes to mind. Yeah, I'm not asked about the critic that is not in the arena with me, that can see all of the things. I feel a bit funny about that one. Because I want my end user shouldn't really need to know the intrinsics of what it is that I'm doing in the background to create their user experience. Like, I think about a tin of Heinz tomato soup, and because that's the thing that I think about a lot. I think about a tin of Heinz tomato soup, and I really enjoy a tin of Heinz tomato soup. Don't start sending me tins of tomato soup. I've got enough. It's okay. It's not an obsession of mine. I just went for the first obscure thing I could think of. I don't think about the process of the marketing team or the logistics team or the procurement team or the taste testing team or anything that gets my soup to the table. I'm going to taste the soup, and that soup tastes good, or that soup doesn't taste good, and I make my mind up accordingly. because I'm not a professional soup taster, does that mean that my feedback isn't relevant? And I would say that no, if you do a good cross section of that end user experience, you're going to get a really good idea of the actual user experience you're delivering and not just one person's. So I think that there is a space for people that are not in the arena. I think that I need a cross section of both. I think. Jodie Danner, hello, sweetheart. Surely feedback with the right intention and given directly in a way that allows correction rather than in an open forum. Yes, I think so. I think so. Karen Dawkins, you need a bigger team for sure. You're doing bigger things and we want you sane and happy at the end of it. Yeah, we already knew that as we were running up to this one. And the problem or the challenge is that finances, when you are leveling up in such a way, are really tight and really bound. And it means that we couldn't afford a bigger team at this particular point in time. We've got to think creatively about what do we do? You know, where do we need the hands on deck? Where is the investment required? Where is, you know, where does the money need spending? Where does the money not need spending in order to create this really great user experience? I didn't, here we go. I didn't even have a business before I found you. I followed you because I loved you instantly and my life has changed because I found you. No smoke up arse is just facts. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm learning that the best things are perfectly imperfect and will always be a work in progress. 100%. Interesting. We attended an event straight after being inspired and we felt it was too polished and it felt a bit sterile. That's interesting. So one of the value sets for Be Inspired is that we are together. It is a community thing. It will always be a bit rough and a bit ready. I have to show you me getting it wrong in order for it to be okay for you to get. If I show up slicker than slick, right? It's always going to be slick. It's always going to look good. I'm always going to deliver for you, right? But if I show up slicker than slick, all of a sudden I become really far removed from everybody. And that is something that I don't want to cross. I want to show you what's attainable and what's within your reach, and we can make the tables and we get the table wrong sometimes. Yes, it will be a slick experience in that, you know, you're going to get great speakers, you're going to get really great visuals, you're going to get good quality entertainment, all of that sort of stuff. But the camera's going to break and it's going to be all right. Or I'll forget what I'm saying and that's all right. Or I'll have a little cry and get a little bit real and a little bit raw in the middle of it all with you. And that's all right. I'm going to stop and give you a motherfucking hug if that's what you need at that particular point in time. Like, I got you. And I think that slick can really remove me from my audience. Like, I need my audience to see that it's still me. It's not anybody else. You're not getting any polished version of me. You're just getting me. Like, some people want slick. Some people want like uber professional. And I get it. I get it. But Be Inspired isn't that spot. Because how on earth can we create a community where we fail forward if we don't allow ourselves to get things wrong? I'm not showing up in perfection because perfection is a complete fucking fallacy. And so the joy of Be Inspired is that we will never deviate from our values. It will always be fun. It will always have bags of learning. It will always put the building blocks on inclusivity, even if we don't get it right. You know, we will always show up trying to be a good ally, trying to get the best advice, trying to implement as we go, and we're still going to get it wrong. So I think that this, you know, our divorce from being slick actually allows us to create more of a heart of the event. I want this event to be a beating heart in the north. I want this to be where you come and replenish. I want this to be where you come and learn. I want this to be where you come and dance. I want this to be where you have a blubber and cry on the person next to you and that be all right. I want that. I want it where you see me being raw and rubbish sometimes. And it's okay because I'm going to get it right again next time. Anyway, so a lesson in imperfection, a lesson in receiving feedback. So in the moment, and I'll do an email where we'll talk about like our feedback on now and next moves. So one is doing more specific work with all of our speakers on inclusive language, making sure that it isn't just that it's not just that kind of a Just because I understand it, I'm going to do a really quick mention of it whilst we're training together, actually do a real session on inclusive language and doing that really early on to make sure that everybody involved, including our VIP speakers, are aware of the language that is necessary in the room if we want to be inclusive. So addressing the room as ladies isn't the one, because the room is not full of ladies. The room is definitely not full of ladies. Not with me at the helm, it's not. But we are, yes, predominantly women, on account of the fact that lots of men are scared to get involved with this. More men than ever were in that audience this time, which gave me joy. More good men. I want more good men in that room. We are trans, we are non-binary. We don't fall in the gender norm. We are predominantly female. We are not going to be shy of saying the word women. We are not ladies, is what we're not. And in a room, we're not women like us, because there is no, like, we have some common denominators, but like, what does women like us even mean? People like us. So making sure that we do a proper training session on inclusive language and what that looks like. So there's that. Then there is accessibility. What we didn't account for this time, and it's something that we never come across before, so this is just a level up learn, is that because we were using software that we'd never used, it slowed down the check-in process. So we needed to make sure we were registration at 8:30 so that the queue was longer, so that there was time to queue and get people in so that we could start on time. So we went over time quite a lot, which it never normally happens on my events. That made me feel really uncomfortable. Making sure that we have team in-house to make sure that anybody with any accessibility issues is looked after from their initial run up to the event. So making sure that all of the accessibility is well signposted and manned, so that somebody can go along the line and say, is anybody struggling with accessibility, mobility, come this way, and then we've got a way to sort of fast track those people. Making sure that the tables were an appropriate height, or that there are tables available at an appropriate height for folks that are in wheelchairs, for example, or who just can't reach dead-eye tables. Having more seats around in the breakout areas, loads of things, loads and loads of things. So the one thing that I learned, told you earlier on, is that we need a bigger team. Now then, what I am going to be doing in a few weeks' time, not immediately, I'm just sowing the seed now for those of you that are here, is I am looking for a volunteer team of very important bees who are going to form a part of this better user experience. So I'm going to need people who can help with accessibility. I'm going to need people who can be cheerleaders on the day as well. As the event gets bigger, I need people at the back to help me maintain the energy at the back of the room, right? So I need people who are, getting the crowd going in the morning for me, so that when I jump out in a stupid costume, it's not just me that's got to pump everybody up. Like, VIBs, absolutely. Yeah. Or just part of the flight squad. So we're going to expand the flight squad. And here's how it's going to work. You will not pay for a ticket and we will CAF you, and you'll be able to experience Be Inspired. However, you will be able to be a part of the team. So you'll be designated a job. There's lots of different jobs, and that will be discussed as we form the team. But you'll be assigned a job. So outside of the job that you're doing, you'll be able to experience the event in all of its fabulousness and not have to pay for a ticket. So that's the exchange. So yeah, that's what we're going to do next time. So more details on that, how to become part of the flight squad for the next Be Inspired on the 30th and 31st of March, coming your way. There's only space for 10, and we will be rigorously making sure that they are people who are already a part of the community, who know what Be Inspired is about. They've been to a previous Be Inspired. That's really important for me, that they already understand the team. They already understand us. So I'm speaking to members of the IATQB community now who have already been to Be Inspired. So more on that another time, but we are going to expand the team so that we have hands on floor to help us with setup, help us with knockdown, help us with user experience. And that's going to help create that more safety for people, to make sure that people are looked after in the way that they should be, the way that they deserve. All right. So, all exciting things. If you want to get your ticket to the next Be Inspired, go to imthequeenbee.co.uk. We have early bird tickets. They are early bird prices. Prices go up at the end of this month. And also, the week after next, we've got the Be Heard Boot Camp, where I'm going to be doing some free training for you all on speaking, getting you speaking about your business. So, what I need you to do is go to imthequeenbee.co.uk/bootcamp. Go and get yourself signed up. You can only win prizes if you are signed up. We've got the best prizes we've ever offered on the table. I'm really excited to share those with you. And those prizes are going to really help you with your business. So that's what's on the table for you this time. I'm very, very excited. So it runs from, I think it's Tuesday the 17th. I really should say that. Like I know what I'm talking about. Wait there. Talk amongst yourselves. Yes. So it starts week beginning Monday the 17th. The first of the challenge trainings is on the 17th, Tuesday the 17th. So the week of Monday, the 17th of October is the Be Heard Bootcamp. You are going to want to be involved in it. It's www.imthequeenbee.co.uk/bootcamp. And I am going to get you speaking about your business. Right, my darlings, we've run over, but I hope this morning you have found helpful. I hope you have found our conversation around feedback informative, reflective. I hope it's given you some food for thought today as you head on out into the rest of the week. I will see you on Friday for more Showing Up, Wising Up and Rising Up. I'm going to come to you from Watford on Friday from the Clear Path Domestic Abuse Conference, and that will be I'll kind of show you what I'm getting up to there. So I'm going attending events. I'm back out in the field. I'm at Sue France's Literary Lunch tomorrow speaking. So yeah, I'm back out on the road. I'm back to business. As are you. I will see you on Friday. Take care.